Farmville had 85 million players logging in and playing every day. About 33% of those were paying players, and that 85 million is more than the last generation of consoles sold in the world. So, why do you think a game like Farmville or Candy Crush, because that is the new top dog at the moment, why do you think those types of games are becoming the most popular? Easy to get to, easy access.
Easy to play.
Huh?
Easy to play
Easy
for
to
the average
play.
customer.
Easy to play. Audience, yes, wider audience. You can take it everywhere. It's also widely appealing to multiple demographics, right? What do you think the main demographic is for games like that? What type of person is it? Child.
Adults on the bus to work.
Adults on the bus to work, close. Seniors. The top demographic for something like Farmville or Candy Crush is 35 to 55 and women. 35 to 55 and women. Why do you think that's the top demographic?
Scrabble.
Nope.
Not housewives necessarily, but their wives, their mothers, typically have a job, they typically have kids to tote around or to do, have to do things with, right? We have very little time in between. I have 2 teenagers, they don't have their driver's licenses. I am a chauffeur. Yeah, so, when I'm waiting around for them, how many of you guys have one of these? Raise your hands for everyone that has a smartphone. All right, keep your hands up. Look around. Now, how many of you play games on your smartphone? Keep your hands up and everybody look around. It's about 70, almost 80% of the people in this room play games on their smartphone. How many of you have paid for games on your smartphone? Oh, hands up. And that's about 30%, 30 to 40% in here.
Exactly.
This is a good range of demographics to show you how popular these things and the short games have become. So when I'm parked waiting for my kids, I am playing games. That is what I am doing. So, now that you've all had a good start off,
Talking to you anymore.
good bit of trivia and information.
I won't talk to you either.
My name is Liz Canicario-Rose. I actually teach game history and foundations of programming in the Game Design Bachelor's, which is online. I've been in and around Full Sail for a decade, and I know quite a bit about all of the game programs here. So I'm going to give you an overview of the Game Design Masters, and then I'll go more in depth about the Game Development Bachelors. So we have quite a few game studies programs. Who here is for the Game Development Bachelors? I should see a lot of hands. I see a lot of young guys here. All right, good, good. Yes. We also have the Game Design Masters, which is on campus. Is there anyone here interested in that? Interested? Do you guys have a bachelor's yet? Okay, good. We need to give you a bachelor's before you get a master's. They won't let us just give you a master's. I don't know why, but I do know why. We also have a bachelor's in game design, which is online only. And we've got chairs coming in for anyone that may need an extra chair. They need a chair back there. Awesome, guys. Thank you. And we also have a bachelor's in game art. Is there anyone here for game art? It's another tour. Okay, good. Yes, I don't have to find them. All right. So, let me give you a quick overview of the master's program. Now, master's is game design and leadership. It's mainly a production track or a management track. So, if you ever want to become an assistant producer, a team lead, any of those sorts of things, you'll want to look into the master's after you get your bachelor's. What we go over here is actually doing scheduling a vision with the team, doing bug checking, scheduling, budgets, so on and so forth. You're gonna be working with a whole set of different types of people. Artists, musicians, programmers, designers, they will all be a part of your team that you will be managing. And that's what this course goes through, is how to communicate with those folks, how to keep them on task, how to keep their passion alive for the game that you're making. But what you guys are mostly here for is the Game Development Bachelor's. Now, this program is very math, logic, and problem-solving intensive. How does that sound to everybody? Is it awesome? Yes. Yes. How many of you guys like math? Good, good. A lot of people don't want to admit that they like math. Math is awesome. How many of you that don't like math are really good at it? Oh, big old group right back here. You will learn to love math. I promise you.
I would have to.
Huh? What was that?
I would have to.
You will have to, yes. No, once you see what it can do for you, it's amazing. So, this is focused a lot on programming. Programming is based in mathematics, typically binary, which is counting in ones and zeros. It can get very, very long, but you won't be dealing with that much. We mainly teach in C++, and there's a big reason for that. So, before I came to Full Sail, I actually acquired an associate's degree in computer programming from an unnamed technical college. We learned everything: C, C++, Basic, Visual Basic, COBOL, Fortran, Pascal, Perl, Java, you name it, we learned it. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get a job once I graduated because I actually didn't know how to program. We learned up to a certain point in every language. Unfortunately, that certain point was not really anything at all. I did a lot of research. When I came to Full Sail, everything that I knew about programming, I relearned in the first month and a half. I had about 18 months of extra programming knowledge that I did not have. Who feels silly about her associate's degree? This one right here. So, we teach mainly in C++ for you guys to learn how to program. It doesn't matter what language you start in, when you know how to program, you'll be able to pick up any language that you want or need. So, how many years do we take of English or our primary language in school? A ton of them. 12. Depending on how many years of school you're taking, you're going to take some sort of English or primary language class every single year. When do we get access to learning new languages, typically? 6th, 7th grade. So, or sometimes some areas it's high school where they get, right? So between 5 to 8 years of English classes, learning how to communicate with each other in our first language, right? Same concept here. Because English, you know, any language has verbs, nouns, sentence structure, paragraph structure, all of that sort of stuff, stuff that we need to learn before we can actually start moving into another language. C++ and all programming languages have the same sort of things: variables, functions, methods, classes, structs, all of those sorts of things. They're similar across all languages. That is why we focus on C++. We want you to know how to actually use all of that, how to communicate in one language completely first before moving on to others. So, and of course, what makes this totally awesome is that you get to do it in relation to games. When you start coding, you start coding for games. Some of your first games are actually going to be text games, like text blackjack, or a maze game with ASCII codes. Very fun to do.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So you're going to be focusing on programming. Now, I have said that I am a Full Sail alumni. I was actually the second female to graduate from the bachelor's program. And so that was a long time ago now. But I've actually been in and around the game industry for about 15 years. I actually started off in serious games with doing heart surgery simulations. And after Full Sail, I worked for a few startups and then started my own mobile development company, which we do contracts. You're going to find that sort of experience with everyone here. Either we've been in the game industry or we're still working within the game industry. Many of us are still releasing games today. We are here to help you. We keep up to date. We want to make sure that you guys aren't learning something that's 10 years old. There's no point in that. Nobody's using it anymore. We want to make sure that you guys are as up to date as we are. And we are always here to help. Now, how do games get made? So it's a lot of math. It is all mathematics underneath. We communicate with the computer through more of a basic sort of English, but when it gets transferred, it goes into ones and zeros. But there are 5 specific aspects of programming a game. First is graphics. Oh, graphics. How many of you guys are absolutely loving the new graphics on the systems today? Look at those hands. Aren't they so clear and crisp? Oh, it's so awesome. There's a lot of math to that. But thankfully, DirectX and OpenGL help us with that. These are the things that actually help put the graphics to the screen. Now, what we end up doing is we end up creating engines, either using one of those two, to help us move the graphics on the screen. While DirectX and OpenGL will put all this stuff to the screen, we still have to tell it how to put things, where to put things. It's all working within space. So a lot of matrices, vertices, shading, sizing, rotation, a lot of that goes into this. The second part is artificial intelligence. So how boring would a game be if all the enemies just stood around and did nothing? It wouldn't even be a game anymore most of the time, right? Artificial intelligence makes the enemies move. It is a set of algorithms. Some algorithms actually tell the enemies, hey, the player is within this distance. You can see them, start moving towards them. Another algorithm actually tells them how to move towards you. Are they going up a hill? Do they have to go around a corner? Is there a door in the way? And it's all a set of these pieces that go together. We also teach you guys a good bit about data structures. Data structures help with the artificial intelligence. Keeping these things, so however many enemies you want of a certain type, you can make a data structure to always have that certain type and act the same way every single time. All right, collision detection. Collision detection is a fantastic thing. This is how we know that a player has hit a wall, how we know a bullet has hit an enemy or hit our player character. It uses geometry. So everything that's movable on the screen typically has some sort of invisible form around them. Typically it's a box because it's easier mathematically to use. So if 2 boxes collide together, that collision is marked. And that is how you know when something's hit something else. So if these 2 cars, they have basic boxes around them, their boxes smushed together, most likely the graphics should change to have the fenders being dented. You guys have played some of those card games like that, right? Aren't those awesome though? All right. The next thing is input. So input is how we as humans actually communicate with the computer to play the game. So we have phones, we have Wiimotes, we have the Kinect, we have traditional controllers. Traditional controllers in and of themselves are really easy to use nowadays because there's 2 analog sticks and a whole bunch of buttons, and all of those have